Okay, my name's Peter Saunders. Question, why is it that welfare dependency has increased on an almost constant rate over the last 30, 40 years in all Western countries? I think there's three reasons. One is that low-skilled jobs have been disappearing as a result of globalization. So we've got jobs now offshore in India, China, and so on, and as a result of technological change. So there's a section of the population that's been left stranded by these changes. Secondly, there's been a dramatic change in family life over the last 30, 40 years, and increasing numbers of people trying to bring up children on their own and finding that they simply can't afford to do a full-time job of work and to pay for childcare, and therefore require some kind of government assistance. And thirdly, there's a cultural change that's been going on in this time too. I think go back to my parents' and grandparents' generation, and there was a reluctance to seek financial assistance from government. That reluctance is gone. The stigma that used to attach to welfare claiming is gone. There's now a rights mentality rather than a stigma. And the more people who live on welfare, the more normal it is seen to be, and the more possible it appears to be to people. So the thing becomes a sort of self-reinforcing. So I think they're the factors that lie behind it. What do we do about it? Well, in the written submission that I've made, I've talked about a number of important issues about incentivising employment of service providers, about ensuring that when people move from welfare to work, they're actually better off financially. These are all crucial issues. But the core of the issue is how to change the three key categories of welfare benefit, which is unemployment benefits, benefits for single parents, and invalidity, disability benefits. If you take unemployment benefits first, a lot of people on unemployment benefit are only there for a short time between jobs, and I don't think there's a particular problem there. There is a problem when people have been on unemployment benefits for about 6 months, because there's then a quite strong likelihood they'll be there for another 6 months and will become long-term claimants. What I take from that is that any conditions or activities that are attached to claiming unemployment benefit clearly ought to kick in at the latest after 6 months. Indeed, I think for some categories of claimants, school leavers being one, I think these conditions and requirements should kick in immediately. But nobody should be on unemployment benefit for more than 6 months without having conditions and requirements attached to their claim. What should those conditions and requirements be? Well, they should be a work activity. I'm quite bullish on this. The OECD evidence is clear that training schemes attached to welfare, by and large, don't help people move from welfare into work. They're very often irrelevant to people's needs. They're just a ritual that people get pushed through, and everybody associated with it knows that and understands it. And it's just soul destroying for everybody concerned. There are exceptions, in particular women returning from labour force after having children for a few years. They can benefit and do benefit from training schemes. Most people don't, and therefore I think the best preparation for work is work. The activities should be work-related activities. The second area the second key category of welfare benefit is for single parents. Here, New Zealand, Australia, Britain and Ireland just stand out from the rest of the OECD. We're the only cluster of countries that has believed it's a good idea to give single parents welfare right way through until their child reaches school leaving age. It's actually a dreadful idea, and all four countries are now moving away from it, or have moved away from it. I think New Zealand is talking about activities kicking in now when the child reaches 6 rather than much later. But even 6 years, I think, is far too long. In 6 years, people lose their work habit, they lose their work skills, and a child is growing up, of course, for 6 years in a household where there's no adult working, which I think is very destructive. So I think that we need to learn. I think New Zealand could learn from, in particular, the Scandinavians, where there's an expectation that parents will return to the workforce after 1 year, or certainly within 2 years of the birth of a child. That is linked. The quid pro quo, of course, of that is that the Scandinavians also put in place very good quality and affordable childcare. And I think that's something that maybe you should look at, is saving money by getting single parents to return to the workforce much earlier, but ring-fencing those savings and devoting them to good quality, affordable childcare directed at welfare families in particular. Because I think, although there's arguments and disputes about whether institutional childcare is good or bad for child development, there's no doubt that for children growing up in more deprived backgrounds, I think exposure to good quality childcare can be an enormous help to their development, as well as releasing them out of work activity. Finally, if you come on to invalidity, disability, and sickness, it's the most difficult of all the three categories, I think, to reform. It's easy we know what the problem is, that large numbers of people on disability payments are not actually disabled. 30 years ago, they would have been classified as unemployed, not disabled. It's easy, therefore, to say, well, in that case, tighten up the eligibility rules, tighten up the medical tests. All this is being done in many countries. I think it's important to do it, but in the end, it's not really going to solve the problem. You're going to shift people from disability payments onto unemployment payments, but not necessarily going to shift them into work, which is what we're trying to do, because the real problem here is that large numbers of people on disability payments have been left stranded by the collapse of low-skilled work. I think large numbers of them are of limited cognitive ability. They used to have jobs in the sort of nooks and crannies of the economy, not terribly high-value jobs, and these jobs were cleared out over the last 30 years through efficiency drives in both the public sector and the private sector. The trouble is that, I've never thought, I find myself saying this, but I think that probably we need to revisit the question of whether government can, through subsidy or through direct job creation or whatever, can resuscitate some of the work opportunities for this relatively low ability group, because otherwise I think they're going to be stranded long term on welfare. They're not going to be able to compete for the kind of jobs in the new economy. We can't leave these people on welfare, and therefore we've got to try to find ways of resuscitating demand for the kind of activities that they can provide. So that's it. Thank you for inviting me to contribute to this discussion. It's an enormously important issue. I wish you well with it, and I look forward to seeing in due course what proposals you come through with. Thanks.